Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? So today's Sunday. Now, when I booked this masterclass, I did not realize, unfortunately, that it was an American and a UK holiday tomorrow. So it's okay. I did it because it was the full moon on Thursday. And the full moon energy is really positive and it's amazing to work around because it actually helps us get into a state of looking forward and has lots of different energies that will bring up a lot of things, good and bad. And sometimes it's more bad than good. So you just have to go with it. Sometimes you got to feel the feelings like we've talked about all the last 3 days. So we have covered a lot of ground. And so I've taken you from understanding what kind of anxiety you may have to understanding that your beliefs aren't true, to questioning them, how to do it. And then we talked about not looking at the past. And if you're going to look at the past, there's two reasons why only. And then we talked about law of manifestation, the law of attraction, our energy, our ego mind. We talked about how to unravel our subconscious mind, the mind chatter, how to address it, why it's there, the opportunity for us. We talked about not being the victim and being in a victor state where things are working for you, not to you. We looked at how to reframe and rephrase and look at our perspective differently through a curiosity filter instead of a judgmental critical filter. We talked about, oh my goodness, what else did we talk about? So much. So the first 3 days, well, the first 2 days for sure are up on YouTube. So if you want the replays of those, you just go to Tina A, capital A as an apple, dot Hull, Hull, and you go to my channel. And on the top left should be the anxiety-free masterclass. And day 1 and day 2 are listed and posted there. Hopefully day 3 and 4 will be there later today. And then day 5 will be tomorrow. So day 5 is going to be really exciting, and I hope people show up because it's going to be awesome. So it's going to be a Q&A at the beginning to get some clarity around some of these concepts, because a lot of these concepts are new for a lot of people. So I just want to give you the opportunity to ask questions. And then if somebody wants to be coached through their experience, then you can come up and we'll do couple of coaching calls. It depends on how many people are going to be in the call and how many people are willing to step up and actually do the coaching call itself. So everybody's different. Some people aren't comfortable coming up, and that's okay. And if nobody comes up, that's also okay. I'll just end it on the Q&A call. So if you are enjoying this, I would really appreciate it if you leave comments underneath the YouTube videos and your aha moments, what your takeaways are, if you want to recommend other people to them. The replays will be up until next Friday. And then they'll be coming down, and the whole thing I will put into a private mode because I'm going to be selling it for $333 because it's that powerful. So on Monday, we did a removal of the heavy energies. On Tuesday, we did a cord cutting around the brain and the mind and the amygdala and the pineal gland and the hippocampus, the neck, the throat. They were so powerful. And then yesterday, I did a guided meditation for your inner child. And today, so exciting, we're going to meet our higher self. So there is a progression. And it's not random. So I just want you to know and understand that, because we want to clear some of these things so that we can be open to receiving and hearing what is being said to you, especially because it's new information. And I should have said this at the beginning, but I forgot because it happened. Is when you find yourself saying things like, oh, I already know that. Or in your mind, you're like, yeah, whatever, I get that. No, you don't. And I had, this is a pill that I had to swallow, because I found myself doing it in master classes I was attending, and realized that, yes, I know the concept on a certain level, but it's not been integrated, because if it was integrated, then I wouldn't have the experience I was having right now. So just be aware when you say things like that, or you fight for your limitations. Yeah, but, okay. Yeah, but blah, blah, blah. Well, is that going to be, that's probably what got you here. So are you deciding to put that down for a while and try something else? Are you open to hearing and seeing and feeling and doing differently? This is what it's going to require. We can't get to where we want to be being, doing, seeing, hearing, thinking the same way we have always done. It's not going to happen. It can't. You can fight for your limitations all you want. And you're completely justified, I'm sure. You're completely in the right. And has it gotten you anywhere? Has it got you where you want to be? Just, again, no judgment, no criticism. Just get curious. Ask yourself the questions. We have to ask ourselves the hard questions sometimes. And we sometimes have to also push ourselves a little bit more outside of our comfort zone, outside of what we know, outside of our basic understanding of some of these things. Because a lot of people that I've talked to over the last little while, when I say certain things to them, they have no idea what to do. And that's okay too. And what are you going to do? Are you going to stay unsure? Are you going to stay on not knowing what to do? Or are you going to actually reach out and take advantage of these things and put them to practice? Because they work. One lady came into the last masterclass we had. So she went through the first week. She watched the videos again. She took notes. She put the things into practice, things she knew already and things that I had taught her. And after the second week of doing all the things, her anxiety was gone. So I believe with all my heart, your anxiety can be gone. Now, there's different varying degrees, and I honor that. So some are going to take a little bit longer. Some are, and if this is all new information, it's certainly going to take longer, because it's going to have to become a habit. And a lot of these things aren't habits yet. And that's okay too. But care enough about yourself, love yourself enough to actually try to put some of these things in practice. So when we show up for ourselves, a novelty, I know, then it will make a big difference. We have to focus on ourselves. We've got to love ourselves. We've got to take care of ourselves. There's the analogy where you've been on a plane before, and the stewardess or flight attendant will, at the beginning of her little spiel, talk about the oxygen mask and tell you to put yours on first and then help somebody else. We've got to fill ourselves up first. Then we overflow onto everybody else. Then we have energy for our friends and our family. Then we have desire to do things and be a certain way and to to be productive and to be an amazing mom, partner, brother, sister, friend, whatever. But we can't do that when we're depleted. When we're depleted, then there's not even a drop left. And something's got to give. So what's going to give? In this situation, it's your mind. Some people's situation is physical, and some people it's physical and mental and emotional. So everything there's a reason for it all. We have to tap into and look into why we're going the way we're going, why it's happening. And some of you aren't aware, and that's okay. And I question it a little bit, because some people can be so specific on the date of when it occurred, when the anxiety started to kick in, that I find, and again, it might be about awareness. So maybe you don't know, but I really want you to look at your life and question, have you been overstressed? Are you overtaxing yourself? Are you saying yes to too many people? Are you doing things with and for other people, but you're not doing them for yourself? Are you a people pleaser? Are you overtaxing yourself? What's your relationship like? Is it happy and healthy? What's your relationship with your kids? With your colleagues? What's work like? Is work draining you? Maybe there's some changes that need to be made. So, as I said before, for me, pain is a signal that something is out of alignment, that something's not in harmony, that you're not working with your soul self. And it's an opportunity for us to heal, for us to get better, to get healthier, and at the other end, to be happy and thrive. And if we don't look at what the cause is, then it's going to really be difficult to get through this. It's not necessary, but most people, our minds are made in such a way that you need to see where it's coming and why it happened and all that kind of stuff. So it just soothes the ego a little bit more. So, question for you. Do you love yourself? Now, if you had asked me if I love myself a couple of years ago, I would have said, no, yeah, 100%. No question whatsoever. And I realized that I wasn't showing myself the love by staying in a toxic, narcissistic marriage. I wasn't as mean as some people can be to themselves. I wasn't as critical as some people could be with themselves, but he was filling that gap. So what needs to change in your life? So we get to use our imaginations here. And there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no limitations. It is a limitless possibility. So what do you want? What do you desire? What is your dream? Go big and go bigger, and then go bigger still. We have choices that we can make, and choosing to do them and making a plan to get them done is something that you can do. So decide today one thing that you're going to do that's going to help you with your anxiety. So there's a number of things that you can do that are free, and you can do it on your own. You don't need any help. So staying present in the moment is one of them. Doing deep belly breathings. So you're going to do the box count as we've done throughout the last couple of days. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and pause for 4. Going to do those as often as you need. Then you're going to try meditation. If you cannot quiet your mind, I recommended guided meditation or meditation with music, because that could be enough of a distraction, at least at the beginning, until you get more practiced. And then once you're more practiced, then you can do the silent meditation. And if you're doing the silent meditation and your mind is chattering like crazy, again, these are opportunities for us to heal. Write them down. What is your mind saying? And you can just close the door and say, not right now. I don't need to hear or see you, and not hear them. And then open the other door to allow in peace and calm. It can be as simple as these things. I know because they sound simple or they sound easy, then we have a tendency to think that they're not going to work. And I challenge you that they will. Journaling is another one you can do. Talking to a friend that you can trust, that isn't going to judge you or criticize you. I caution you on that one, because there's a lot of people, especially when we're struggling mentally, that they start to label us as mentally unwell. And we're not mentally unwell. You're having a hard time right now, and that's okay. And that's why you're here. And you can move through it and get the results that you desire. Maybe you need to have crystals in your pockets, or in a wrist, or in a necklace. And those crystals, there's lots of crystals out there that are going to help you to emotionally stabilize. Maybe you need to do a forgiveness letter around the full moon and the new moon, to yourself, to friends, to family, to anybody that has wronged you, quote unquote. We don't want to allow the emotions to stay in us. This is what's happening. The emotions are staying in us. We're locking them in at the cellular level because we're making them mean something. So if someone came up to me today, or come up to you today, and yelled in your face and called you names, what would your response and reaction be? For me, I'd be like, oh, sorry you're having a bad day. Sending you love and light. It would take me by surprise. It would shock me, but I would not take it personally, because I don't know who they are, and what they think doesn't matter. Maybe they're mentally unwell, or maybe they're having a bad day and and I'm just a target. So when we put emotion around these things, we make it mean something. And when we make it mean something, it adds and amps it up. So more emotion will create momentum, and it will make it worse, or it'll make it better. So if you're having a really good day and someone shows up and either takes you out for lunch, or brings you flowers, or says something really sweet to you, and it just adds to your happiness, that is a positive forward motion and momentum. And if you're not having a great day and someone comes up and does that and says that some nasty things to you, or you stub your big toe, and then something at work's not working and things aren't going well, and you're forgotten something that you need, and now you go back out and get it, and all these things, the negatives are building up, then that momentum is building. And most of us, it seems, aren't able to express what we need in order for us to release those things. So remember, I talked about the balloon analogy. It gets bigger, and it gets bigger, and it gets bigger until it pops. And it pops and shows up with anxiety, overwhelm, heightened stress, can't sleep, chest pain, chest breathing. You're breathing from the upper chest. You're not belly breathing. Your mind is going like crazy. You can't quiet your mind. The mind chatter is so large, and you're overwhelmed, and now you're worried, and now you're catastrophizing for the future, and you're going down this negative rabbit hole. Sound familiar? So, what do? Take a nice deep breath. And remind yourself everything's going to be okay. You're okay. You don't have to put emotions around these things. So there was a client of mine who we were working together energetically doing something else. She had some right-sided rib pain. And during the experience, she was realizing that she was holding a lot of the emotions from her trauma from her childhood and her family from the past, but also presently. And so we were unraveling all of that and releasing and removing it from her body. And she found a lump on her breast. And so she realized that it wasn't from when we were working together. Most times it takes a couple of years for these to actually break down our bodies. So this was from a couple of years ago when things were getting really intense with her siblings. And so she's got, it comes back positive, so she's got breast cancer. But it's really small. They've caught it early. The surgeon is really quite pleased and doesn't have much concern. So, and her natural instinct, even though we've been working together for a little bit, was to go down that negative rabbit hole, because we hear cancer and we usually freak out. And so we allowed her, she allowed herself a couple days of being in that negative downward spiral, having her freak out moment, feeling the feelings that she was feeling, and then we came back into alignment. That doesn't have to mean anything. It's just a surgery. It's something that can be taken care of. It doesn't mean she's going to die, although, which is ironic, because when we first started to work together, she was in fear that someone was going to annihilate her. That's a big word with a big emotion around it. So we were able to subside that. So she wasn't feeling that anymore, which is good. So the doctor was even impressed with her on how well she was taking it all, how well she was managing the emotions, how well she was allowing the experience not to mean anything and just allowing it to be as it is. And because of that, she went through some radiation just to be on the safe side. And at the end of it, she was excited because she found some really good friends and people that supported her and helped take care of her and helped cook for her and helped take her to the hospital and to her appointments. And she didn't feel at the beginning of working together that she had friends or that she could trust relationships. So that had been built. So it's an accumulation. And we want to know that everything's going to be okay. And keep reminding yourself that. That could be your new mantra. Everything's going to be okay. Or if that doesn't seem true, then I'm willing to believe that everything's going to be okay. I'm willing to believe that everything's going to be okay. And it is. It doesn't seem like it right now, but it is going to be okay. So this is part of the self-love and self-care and taking care of yourself and making sure that you're doing different things. These are tools for you to put in your toolbox so that when you've got the mind chatter going, it's just going from that 17 seconds and it's getting closer to 64 seconds, then you can try to stop it. We talked about getting grounded. What else did we talk about? We talked about staying present in the moment. So you don't want to future project. You don't want to go into the worry of what if. You want to use the what if in a positive way. So what if after this masterclass, after these 4 days, and maybe you show up for the questions tomorrow, or you decide to get coached by me tomorrow. What if you don't have anxiety anymore? That's a possibility. What if after this masterclass, your mind chatter quiets because now you're starting to unravel the beliefs that are creating it? What if your mind chatter quiets, your anxiety is lessening and it's less frequent? How exciting is that? What if your mind chatter is quieting, it's lessening, and your anxiety is lessening, and you haven't had a panic attack in a couple of weeks, and you're starting to feel good. You're starting to feel more like yourself again, and you're starting to really enjoy life, and you're looking forward to socializing again. What if? What if? Use the what if for the positive. So the other thing is a mantra that I held for a long time and continue to hold is nothing and no one has power over me. So I was in a toxic marriage for 24 years, together for 27, and we separated for 5 years. And unfortunately, through COVID, we were still in the same building, and it was less than ideal. Let's just put it that way. And so I had to really be strong in knowing who I was and not allowing him to trigger me, not allowing him to manipulate me, not allowing him to change and alter my mood, which was a choice because I didn't always do that. I did allow him for a long time to dictate to me, and I altered my mood and I altered who I was being, but I didn't like it. And then I remembered I had a coach in my group come in, and this was, I believe, around COVID time. And she talked about the green zone and the red zone. So the red zone is anger, bitter, frustrated, worry, fear, all the things. Then the green part is happy, joy, bliss, excitement, all the positive. And most of the time, a lot of people and a lot of things that trigger us are in this red zone. We have a choice. We do. We can choose to ignore it. We can choose to feel what we need to feel and let it go. Or we can choose to allow it to affect us. And then we can react and respond from that place. And then we can get into being not who you want to be. And that's where I had gone for a while. And I decided one day that I don't like who I was, so I wasn't going to do that anymore. So he can stand in front of me and he can yell at me, he can call me names, he can do whatever he wants. except touch me. And then I don't allow him to get to me. We are that powerful and that strong. It is a choice. It's a decision that you need to make, that anxiety is not going to control your life anymore, that your mind is not going to control or have power over you. You can do this. I know you can. And people have been asking me recently what my anxiety journey has been. So I'm going to say two things about that. One is I've been working on myself for a long time. I'm in personal development. I've got the energetic tools. I've got the basic tools that are out there. So I work on myself all the time. I do have anxious moments and I work through them because I use the tools. I don't have anxiety. The other thing is just because I don't have anxiety doesn't mean I can't help you. I was listening to a coach the other day and she said, you don't go to an eye surgeon because he's had eye surgery. And I was like, oh, okay. So she said, you go to an eye doctor because he knows what to do to help you get what you want. So that's the difference. As a coach, I can get you what you want. As a healer, I can get you what you want. But I don't have to have been there and done that to know what you're going through. Because I know what you're going through. I've seen it. I've seen it in my clients. I've seen it in friends and family, people I've been talking to online. So I understand it. And that's the difference. And I also know with everything in my being that you can heal from this. It's not part of who you are. It's just a moment in time. So I encourage you to do the best you can and doing things that you love, that you like, that light you up, to make you smile, make you feel good, and not stay stuck in the negative. I did this last week or the week before, and I got myself caught up in all the negative and all the things that are going and all the things that aren't going right and blah, blah, blah. And as a human, it happens. So you got to give yourself grace and compassion when it does, and know that you can get yourself out of it. So I coach myself through these things now, because nothing and no one has power over me unless I give it to them. And I don't want to do that anymore. Okay. I feel complete. So we're going to do a guided meditation. Yesterday we did the inner child, and today we're going to talk to our higher selves. There is a version of us that has what we want, that is living the life that we desire in the 5D world on a different dimension. So we're going to tap into him and her. So I'm going to get you to close your eyes. You're going to bring all your energies back to you. Some belly breath, inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and pausing for 4. Doing that 3 or 4 times. Now you're going to get yourself grounded. You're going to see roots coming from your feet and your seat, going down, down, down into Mother Earth, wrapping around a large, beautiful crystal of choice. Feeling more grounded, more solid. And then you're going to be in an open field. And you're going to come across the adult version of you. And you're looking at them and you're observing. So what's their energy like? What's their mood like? How are they standing? Are they all scrunched up? Or are they standing tall and confident and secure in who they are? What are they wearing? What's the energy that they're emitting from themselves? Hmm. Do what you see make you want to be that person, that version of them, version of you? Continue observing. And then I'm going to get you to ask a question of your higher self. What do I need to do? How do I need to be in order for me to get where you are? Taking a nice deep breath. You may hear something right away, and you may hear something later on. Maybe you see or sense something, or just know it. Just allow yourself the opportunity to hear what the message is. And you hear the answer. And you take a step closer so that you're close enough that you can hold hands, looking at each other. Hmm. And she or he has a message for you. And perhaps you have a different question for them. Take in a nice deep breath. You can ask your question. Hmm. And maybe your higher self wants to give you a hug. You can step up into them, giving them a hug, allowing yourself to receive the hug. Hmm. Hmm. And you step back, and they have a gift for you. Observe it. receive it. If you have any questions about it, you can ask them now. And I'm going to get you to envision your higher self turning away from you. So their back is to you. And you're going to pick up your left foot and join it with theirs. And you're going to pick up your right foot and join it with theirs. As your body also comes forward into them, you are them. You are your higher self. You are the one that has no anxiety, that is feeling good, that is living life, that is got your dream fulfilled, possibilities explored. And it's like they have a mesh as you step into them. And all the negative thoughts, stories, beliefs, feelings, emotions, identity falls away, doesn't come with you. Hmm. What is he or she feeling? What are they thinking? What are they, what is their energy projecting? Feel into that. This is the truth of who you are. This is yours. You can have this now. It might take you more than a minute, but it can be yours. Take a nice deep breath. And open your eyes and be them now. And as you move throughout your day, you're going to have the question in the back of your mind: what would my higher self think, feel, do? What would my higher self believe? This can be shifted. Most of you haven't had this for a lifetime. Most of you have had it for a few months, maybe a couple of years. There's something that triggered it along the way. Maybe you had anxious moments, but it never turned into anxiety attacks or panic attacks. And again, it's an opportunity for us to heal, to get stronger, to love on ourselves more, to take care of ourselves more, to get back into alignment with our soul self. I have no doubt in my mind that you're going through this, like people go through cancer, like people go through different conditions and diseases, because you're out of alignment with your well-being. You're not taking care of yourself. For the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of background stuff going on in my personal life with my ex and our divorce case, and now it's settlement, and I had to have an injunction against him and all the other things. And just being in his energy is just really threw me off. And I forgot self-care. And I've been doing this for a while. And so I allowed myself to get caught up in the negative emotions, the negative feelings, the negative thoughts. I did a little catastrophizing and got into the worry and all that kind of stuff. And I realized it and brought myself back. So you just keep bringing yourself back to center, to alignment, to wellness, to health, to you. This doesn't have to be forever. I promise you, if you do the work, it doesn't have to be forever. Everything's going to be okay. So if you are interested, if you have questions, then DM me in Messenger, either IG or Facebook. And also you can say if you want to be a volunteer to come up and get coached, if you're going to be available. Tomorrow it's going to be at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time, 7:00 British or GMT time, and then whatever time zone you're in from there. Hopefully that's a good enough base. So thank you. Have a blessed day. Happy Sunday. Have a fantastic holiday tomorrow if you're not joining me because it is a holiday and you're enjoying your holiday weekend. Then we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. And